Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms. And this, of course, is the Lightning Flash Update right here on YouTube.com on December 1st, 2017. You already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. And before we get into the weekly show reviews and the news and the rumors, I'm going to take this time to announce something very special. This is actually the first time I've ever announced this on YouTube, and it certainly won't be the last. For the past number of years, I have been doing this annual Christmas countdown on Twitter, and I'm going to tell you guys that this is actually the 5-year anniversary of it. And if you guys want to have some fun, if you want to get involved, you can use the hashtag _JoinTheCountdown to get involved in the DJ Storms Christmas Countdown. I tweet every single day up until Christmas. I tweet, 24 days, 23 days till Christmas, 22 days till Christmas, all the way until Christmas Day, in which I will wish each and every single one of you a Merry Christmas. And tell your friends about me. Like I said, retweet my tweets, favorite my tweets, follow me, or use the hashtag #JoinTheCountdown. And, just have some fun. Just have some fun. I'm going to getting in the holiday spirit, Now, on to the weekly show reviews. So, this week, as far as wrestling goes, the weekly shows were very lackluster. There was probably a few highlights sprinkled in here and there per show. Raw had about 3 highlights, which I'm going to go over right now. But Raw from top to bottom, very, very lackluster, as I said in the beginning. So, Roman Reigns, he issued his very first IC title open challenge, in which Elias accepted on behalf of The Miz and The Miztourage. But before this, Tennessee, you gullible sons of bitches. They were chanting, "You deserve it." They would chant for Roman, no. He did not earn it. He does not deserve it. He was handed the title. Get that through your thick skull. Sorry if you live in the South and that offends you, but stuff like that needed to be said. So we get Elias versus Roman for the Intercontinental Championship later that night. I'm pretty much going to skim through the weekly show reviews with a little touch on a highlight here and there. I was about to say Roman Reigns again. Seth Rollins defeated Cesaro in a decent match, and he said that Dean Ambrose was on his honeymoon with Renee Young, lucky Dean. And they are invoking their rematch clause for the Raw Tag Team Championships, and they are going to beat the Bar next week. Samoa Joe defeated Titus O'Neil, and afterwards put the Coquina Clutch on Apollo Crews as well. Paige, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville attacked Bayley and Mickie James backstage before the 6-woman tag team match could even get started. They attacked Sasha and named their group Absolution. Now, are we living in some alternate dimension here? Are we is the floor the ceiling and the ceiling the floor? Because Bray Wyatt just won a match. Bray Wyatt defeated Matt Hardy, but the important thing is what happened after the match. Matt Hardy started doing rapid delete chants over and over and over again. Could this be a possible sign of broken Matt Hardy coming to Monday Night Raw? I hope so. This was actually my favorite part of the show. Rich Swann versus Arya Daivari versus Akira Tozawa versus Noam Dar. So, Kurt Angle arranged 2 Fatal 4-Way matches. The second one will take place next week in Los Angeles, where we are going to have Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali versus Tony Nese versus Drew Gulak. And then the winner of those 2 Fatal 4-Way matches will face each other. The winner will fight Enzo for the Cruiserweight Championship. This was a very good match, and Rich Swann got the win. So now he's going to face the winner of next week's Fatal 4-Way. Roman Reigns defeated Elias in an Intercontinental Championship Open Challenge match in a very good match. But the best part was what happened after the match when Samoa Joe, like the destroyer that he is, like the beast that he is, put Roman Reigns in the Coquina Clutch. And Roman Reigns passed out, screaming, "I'm coming for you, I'm coming for you." Now, if there's anybody that is more deserving of the Intercontinental Championship, it is Samoa Joe. By far. Asuka absolutely crushed Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke went for a clothesline. As soon as the bell rang, Asuka rolled through into an armbar, and Dana Brooke tapped within a second. Afterwards, Absolution came out. They surrounded Asuka, and Asuka just walked off. Apparently, they're teasing something. Probably a little tease for a brawl that could go down in the possible Women's Royal Rumble match, and I do have some news on that, actually. Man, the main event scene was a waste. It was a waste of everyone's time, completely waste of a main event slot. Jason Jordan was counted out in a match versus Kane. Finn Balor then came out, and Kane got himself DQ'd by hitting Balor with a chair. Braun Strowman came out, and he crushed Kane's throat between a chair and some steel steps. Why is this happening? Why is a Braun Strowman versus Kane feud happening right now? I really don't understand. Kane is of no relevance. Kane in the modern day WWE is of no relevance. And Strowman, forget about Strowman. If you ask me, Strowman should have been Universal Champion. Strowman should have beat Brock Lesnar at No Mercy. He should have been the one facing AJ Styles. Not that I didn't love the Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles match. That match was fantastic. But the fact is that this Brock Lesnar Universal Championship reign is meaningless. It's absolutely meaningless, and it's done nothing for the championship. The only reason Brock Lesnar is holding that championship, and this was planned before WrestleMania 33 even happened, was for Roman Reigns to take the title off of Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania 34. That's all this Brock Lesnar Universal Championship reign really is. And then you got Finn Balor, who apparently is not over, but yet Vince sees Roman Reigns as over. Vince McMahon sees the guy that gets booed night in and night out, and just because he has one lucky night in Tennessee. Nonetheless, I'm going to quote Edge here. When he had a feud with Jeff Hardy for the WWE Championship back in 2008-2009. One good day out of 365 does not make a champion. Meanwhile, Finn Balor is getting cheered night in and night out. The crowd is doing his hand raise every time he comes out, doing it with his entrance. But yet he's not over, right? He gets cheers everywhere he goes. Whether they be soft, whether they be loud, whether the crowd are just doing this, he gets cheered everywhere he goes. Roman Reigns, this is the first time in over a year that I've actually heard a decent reaction for the guy. So the main event was a complete waste of everyone's time. SmackDown Live hit. Shane McMahon kicked us off. He asked Bryan why he didn't fire Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Bryan said he believes in second chances. And Shane McMahon gave two stipulations for the main event between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. So, first, it is a no DQ match, which was a great call. And the second one is that Sami Zayn was banned from ringside. Keyword, banned from ringside. Ringside. See what happened later. We saw what happened later that night. The New Day defeated Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable in a very good match. Now, originally, I thought it was just going to be Benjamin and Gable, but after this, they have a huge opportunity. We already know the New Day and the Usos, they are fantastic in their own right. They put on great matches every time they step in the ring together. Then you got Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. Gable's a star in the making. Shelton Benjamin's a seasoned veteran. They work very well as a tag team. The only way I see this working out is the Usos versus Benjamin and Gable versus the New Day in a triple threat tag team match for the SmackDown Live tag team titles. And if they go through with this, they give these guys 20 minutes, this match could actually give the Revival, DIY, and AOP match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans a run for their money. I would love to see New Day versus Benjamin and Gable versus the Usos. Then we got the Bludgeon Brothers in convincing fashion defeated the Hype Bros again, and Mojo's the one that turned heel, not Zack Ryder. Mojo turned heel, repeatedly started punching Zack Ryder, screaming, "The Hype Bros are dead. The Hype Bros are dead." A heel turn's going to do wonders for Mojo Rawley's career. It did wonders for Seth Rollins' career when he joined the Authority. It did wonders for Neville's career. It's going to do wonders for Mojo Rawley's career. Bobby Roode was given an interview backstage. He basically said that Baron Corbin was afraid of him as he clenches that United States Championship ever so tightly. Corbin interrupted, and this led to a challenge made by Bobby Roode, and Corbin denied it. Corbin denied it. So, we could be looking at Baron Corbin versus Bobby Roode at WWE Clash of Champions, and if Bobby Roode happens to win, he could hold the championship all the way to WrestleMania, possibly win at WrestleMania. Against who? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and find out. AJ Styles defeated the Singh Brothers, and only AJ Styles can bring the Singh Brothers to a decent match. This ended with a beautiful middle rope Styles clash. I believe it was to Samir, and he Styles clashed Samir onto Sunil Singh, and he won. And then afterwards, Jinder Mahal delivered the Kalash to both of the Singh brothers, and I do have some news on that come the news, rumors, and reports section. So, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan coined themselves the Riott Squad. They defeated Naomi, Charlotte, and Natalya. Now, Natalya left after one clothesline from Sarah Logan. Naomi was destroyed. She was thrown shoulder first into the steel steps, and then she was slingshotted forehead first into the steel steps and then carted off. And then Ruby Riott hit that arm wringer Pele kick to Charlotte, and the Riott Squad walk away with the victory. The Fashion Files did a spoof of Saw, where the Ascension actually dug through Tully the horse's severed head to bring out the key and unlock the chains that were restraining Tyler Breeze and Fandango. Apparently, the Ascension, they died in a poison gas mist. And whoever is doing this, I assume they're going to be revealed in the weeks to come. But the main event was what made the show. Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, no DQ match. This match was brutal. Brutal. Let me tell you something. Orton and Kevin Owens, when they took those kendo sticks, started swinging at each other, I swear, they're going to be having welts for days. I got shot by a paintball one time right here. I had that welt for 3 days. They're going to be having welts for 2 weeks with some of those kendo stick shots that they delivered. It was so brutal that Kevin Owens was dropping F-bombs everywhere, and they actually had to mute the audio on the television. That's how bad the strikes were. So bad that I believe it was on his left arm. Randy Orton hit Kevin Owens so hard with the kendo stick that Kevin Owens got a cut right on the side of his arm, and it was bleeding from that. He was bleeding from that cut the entire match. They then brawled into the crowd, and Sami Zayn came to the aid of Kevin Owens, surprise, surprise, with a steel chair attacking Orton, but he was not at ringside. He was not at ringside. He was on the stage. And then Kevin Owens took advantage of that. Hit the super kick and a beautiful frog splash for the win against Randy Orton. This was the second best match of the week. And I'm going to tell you why. All in all, I'm very much looking forward to what they do with this ongoing saga between Owens, Zayn, and Shane McMahon. Then we had 205 Live. It wasn't an overwhelmingly good show. It wasn't a horrible show. It served its purpose because they're saving the big moments for Monday Night Raw, which they should. Enzo kicked us off, and he basically went, yo, Rishi Swann Swan's gonna get beaten by Noam Dar, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen as Rishi Swann defeated Noam Dar with a beautiful Phoenix splash. Then Kalisto versus Jack Gallagher took place. That was actually shaping up to be a decent match. But Brian Kendrick actually interfered in that match. So I'm assuming that this is going to be the next undercard feud on 205 Live for a couple of months between Kalisto and Kendrick and Gallagher. And I'm assuming that Kalisto could very well recruit Grand Metalik for the feud between Kendrick and Gallagher. Hideo Itami had his promo package. Now, with Hideo Itami, the best way to book Hideo here, if they want to do this, the best route to go here would be to have Enzo versus Cedric Alexander. Obviously, I believe Cedric is going to win this little cruiserweight mini tournament. Cedric faces Enzo, and you could either go either way. You can either go with Cedric winning the cruiserweight title or Enzo retaining. Hideo then shows up at the Rumble. Like, the feud should continue to the Rumble. Enzo or Cedric, either wins or retains the title at the Rumble. It's got to continue to the Rumble. Hideo then shows up and gives the GTS to whoever wins that match, which in turn will set up Hideo versus either Cedric Alexander or Enzo Amore for WrestleMania. And that's when Hideo wins the Cruiserweight Championship. So, then we had Team PowerPoint, which was the team of Tony Nese and Drew Gulak. And Drew Gulak, like the genius that he is, he prepared a special edition of his PowerPoint presentation, and he got on his hands and knees, throwing his hands up in the air like he just won a marathon, which was fantastic from Gulak. Gulak, without a doubt, he is one of my top 3 favorite cruiserweights in the WWE, without a doubt. Then, him and Tony Nese actually got the win over Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander. There was a bit of tension building between Ali and Alexander, which I assume is going to come to a head come that Fatal 4-Way next week on Raw. Now, here we go. NXT. So the Street Profits kicked off the show by defeating Tino Sabbatelli and Riddick Moss. Now, near the end of the match, Tino Sabbatelli was going for a pin on Angelo Dawkins, and Riddick Moss wanted to seal the deal, so he held Angelo Dawkins' feet down. He held his feet down, the ref caught him, then Moss was taken out by a tumbleweed senton off the apron by Montez Ford. Then came the pop-up spinebuster frog splash, and the Street Profits get the win and remain undefeated. I am very much looking forward to what they do in 2018. Kairi Sane then defeated Peyton Royce. This match was okay. There was a little sloppy spots here and there, but nevertheless, Kairi Sane got the much-needed win. Kairi Sane got the win, and let me tell you something. Triple H and the entire NXT creative team, they must go with Kairi Sane versus Ember Moon for the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver New Orleans. If they don't, they are missing a huge boat and missing out on a huge, huge opportunity and matchup. Next, Ruby Riott versus Sonya Deville in a no-holds-barred match was advertised for next week. Interesting to see what they do there. Their first match during the NXT TakeOver War Game tapings, that was very good. Almas is also having a championship celebration. El Ídolo! El Campeón! Cien Alma! Andrade Cien Almas is having his championship celebration. God, I can't wait. Andrade Cien Almas, let me tell you something. Andrade Cien Almas is fantastic. He is, without a doubt, probably in my top 5. Without a doubt, he's in my top 5 favorite NXT superstars. Right up there with Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black. If you want to, you can throw in Drew McIntyre and Adam Cole. And then in the main event, fantastic main event, even if it's just a one-and-done deal, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven defeating UK champion Pete Dunne and Mark Andrews. Fantastic tag team match. All overall, couldn't get any better. This was the best match of the week, without a doubt. Best match of the week, and I was actually surprised by the win, because if Mark Andrews and Pete Dunne won, then Mark Andrews would become the #1 contender for the UK title. But they did not win. So I'm assuming that they're going to give Tyler Bate his rematch at a later date. But what happened after was a bitter end to Mark Andrews from Pete Dunne. And let me tell you something. Pete Dunne, he can get his rematch in the future. But, after everything that we've seen Pete Dunne do, if Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano was good, if Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate was fantastic, can you imagine what Pete Dunne and Mark Andrews could do? Can you imagine Pete Dunne versus Mark Andrews for the United Kingdom Championship at NXT TakeOver Philly? That match, I thought that Gargano and Dunne was going to give Bate and Dunne a run for their money. And don't get me wrong, that was a good match. But if Gargano and Dunne had gotten more time, I bet you that match would have been better than Bate versus Dunne. But NXT TakeOver, you give Mark Andrews and Pete Dunne 15 to 20 minutes, and they will put on, without a doubt, match of the year, hands down, and in the first month of 2018. No question. No question. I'm telling you, Mark Andrews, he has got to face Pete Dunne for the United Kingdom Championship at NXT TakeOver Philly, especially with a crowd like Philly. Anyway, it's now time for the news, rumors, and reports section of the Lightning Flash Update, as you all know and love. So, multiple sources, including PW Insider, has reported that the Singh Brothers could be on their way out. They could be the next victims of WWE's 2017 release barrage, when Jinder Mahal attacked them and delivered the Kalash to both of them this past Tuesday. It could have very well been the signal of their departure. Now, it's a hit or miss here. And, after all, they couldn't find good use for him. They had one match on 205 Live, and that didn't work out for him. And the fact that they paired him with Jinder Mahal, of all people, even if they are Indian. And by the way, Jinder Mahal, he has gotten worse. He has gotten worse since he won the WWE Championship. The guy is the most stiff in-ring worker I've ever seen. I've been watching WWE for a decade now, and I have never seen someone who's as stiff as he is. The best he could do was a decent match. A good match if he's working with someone like AJ Styles. But other than that, the guy is of no use. The guy's really of no use. Not any use in the main event scene, at least. You can give the guy a mid-card title. I would be fine with the guy having a mid-card title, no problem. But in the main event scene, he just doesn't match up. Not to the guys like Styles, not to the guys like Owens or Zayn or Nakamura. But then again, okay, if the Singh Brothers are on their way out, I wish them the best of luck in their future endeavors if they truly are on their way out. I wish they would have had a better opportunity on 205 Live as well. Or even NXT. They could have put them in NXT and they could have continued on their hot streak as the Bollywood Boys. Now, Dave Meltzer actually stated that Brock Lesnar probably won't even defend the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble. He may appear, but WWE, in their eyes, does not have a suitable opponent for Brock Lesnar. Yeah, because WWE thinks that you are not suitable unless you are 6'6" and you look like you've been lifting weights since you came out of your mother's womb. You gotta be kidding me. You've honest to God, have gotta be kidding me with this. The fact that they think that they don't have a suitable opponent. The fact that they think the only suitable opponent for Lesnar at this time is Roman. The guy that has been booed, the guy that has been absolutely cast off, the guy that has been looked at as the prime example of what is wrong, the guy that screams, just screams what the fans don't want, is the only suitable opponent. Now, I'm trying very hard right now. I'm trying very hard not to get bent out of shape over this. I hope to God that this is not true. I hope to God that this is not true. Because if Lesnar doesn't defend the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble, it would just make this whole Roman deal even more obvious and make his title reign even more meaningless than it is. If anything, Brock Lesnar should have dropped the title to Samoa Joe at Great Balls of Fire. But anyway, moving on to a more positive report. PW Insider, they have been told that Drew McIntyre has already begun rehabbing his bicep injury. And his goal is to return sometime by early April. And I wish McIntyre the best of luck in his recovery. And let me tell you something. I actually hope he's not rushed up to the main roster like they did with Austin Aries. I would actually like to see whoever was the NXT champion at the time, whether it be Aleister Black, whether it be Johnny Gargano, or whether Almas is still the champion. I would love to see one last NXT tag team match. One NXT tag team match. I'm losing my mind here, people. One last NXT title match between McIntyre and whoever the champion is, because I think McIntyre, without a doubt, screams main event, and I believe he deserves one last main event in NXT. Moving on here to Dave Meltzer, he actually reported that he has heard no plans whatsoever for WWE to host the very first ever Women's Royal Rumble. So what was the point? What was the point of bringing up all these women just because you felt that the roster was stale? You're the one that made it stale with the repetitive storylines, with the same old champions over and over and over and over again. When was the last time that Alexa Bliss actually defended the championship? Alexa Bliss hasn't defended the championship since Halloween. And it's the beginning of December. She went an entire month without defending the championship. Yes, some champion you got there representing the women's division. I guarantee you, in 2 months, these little factions are going to be split up. No doubt in my mind they're going to be split up. And my final report of the day comes from Cage Side Seats. I love Cage Side Seats. Cage Side Seats is my go-to rumor and report site when I'm looking to get you guys the latest. Cage Side Seats actually reported that Lio Rush has actually removed all WWE and NXT related mentions from his Instagram and Twitter profiles. Could this very well mean that Lio Rush is gone? I sure to God hope not. I sure to God hope not. He had one match with the Velveteen Dream. And he said something about Emma that he shouldn't have said. And then he publicly apologized for it. And he's still getting hate. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of people. There is a lot of people that are way too sensitive today. That doesn't just have to do with the WWE. That has to do with the whole world in general. I've always hated the concept of walking on eggshells. If you got something to say, I would encourage anyone to say it. Obviously, you got to tread carefully with the authorities and all that. But if it's something that's personal or domestic or, just even in the workplace, obviously, you could just say it. Just say it. Obviously, Lio Rush shouldn't have said that specific thing. But the fact of the matter is that if he even apologized for it, and he's still getting hate for it. And Emma hasn't even acknowledged it. Emma hasn't even acknowledged Lio Rush and this whole incident. But yet everyone else is chastising Lio Rush on behalf of Emma, when Emma has never even looked on Lio Rush's profile, for all I know. The point that I'm trying to make is, when it comes to issues like these, there's a lot of people in the world that really, really need a reality check. And they are way too sensitive. They need to have thicker skin. A lot of people today need to have thicker skin. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every one of you who tuned into this video live, Do not forget to like. Do not forget to comment. Do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to give that notifications bell a middle rope Styles clash like AJ Styles did. Follow me on Instagram at DDog316. Follow me on Twitter at #1WWE Do not forget to keep an eye out for the Lightning Flash update next week and the rundown for Clash of Champions. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. Do not forget, keep a close eye on my Twitter profile. I'll be tweeting every single day up until Christmas for the Christmas countdown. #join the countdown. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great weekend.